Greetings, respected judges. I'm Alita Abraham from Middlesex University, Dubai. The research I will be presenting today was supervised by Dr. Lynda Hyland, to whom I'm greatly obliged. The present study involved to understand the influence of prevalent social behaviors or phenomena on problematic internet usage. To begin with, over the past 2 decades, the tremendous technological advancements and the increased prominence of influential social media has now led to about 2.5 billion social media users across the globe. Alongside, an upsurge on the rates of problematic internet usage, or PIU, has also been observed. Especially considering the current precautionary measures, individuals seem to spend more time on social media apps to cope with the altered states of mood, thereby further stressing on the need to investigate the potential factors and the consequences of PIU. A crucial factor of much research impact is fear of missing out, or FOMO, that could possibly be associated with PIU by certain psychological factors such as self-esteem based on past studies. FOMO is a form of social anxiety, displaying compulsive thoughts or actions of fear of missing an opportunity and feel the need to continually stay connected with others. Second factor, social networking sites incited loneliness, whereby research suggests that the level of interaction with SNS would influence one's feelings of loneliness and thereby predict PIU. However, a concern is that most studies focus on analyzing the subjective feelings of loneliness rather than looking at the internet influence on the loneliness state, therefore suggesting a gap in the literature. Third factor that has been under extensive study is the influence of family relationships on PIU. An individual may not be staying with their parents and might involve other family members such as siblings who could also potentially influence one's internet usage. Therefore, the literature lacks evidence that associates familial bond with PIU. And recently, a prevalent social phenomena, phubbing behavior, has seen significant links with PIU. Phubbing behavior describes the act of an individual who is engrossed in the usage of their smartphones during a face-to-face conversation, exceedingly engaged in SNS, thereby consequently leading to PIU. Considering the aforesaid factors, literature suggests lack of generalizability as majority studies focus on adolescents due to considering the high internet prevalence factor, hence indicating attentional bias. Furthermore, UAE leads the global ranking in the social media usage, certainly indicating the importance of sensitively understanding the negative social behaviors that are influenced by the internet usage and readily clarify the undesirable impact. Therefore, the quantitative study aims to bridge the gap in understanding the influence of family relationship using brief family relation questionnaire, considering the family unit, SNS-incited loneliness, FOMO, and phubbing behavior on problematic internet usage on people aged between 18 and 50 years. The study hypothesized that there will be a significant prediction of PIU by the aforesaid factors. Design. In the study, the analysis assumed problematic internet usage to be the dependent variable, while FOMO, family relationships, SNS-incited loneliness, and phubbing behavior being the independent variables. Participants. 205 participants' data were analyzed. The pie chart showing the age distribution with about half the participants belonging to 18 to 25 category and the remaining to much older categories. Materials. Along with the demographic sheet inquiring about age and gender, 5 validator questionnaires with accepted internal reliability were used to measure the variables. Procedure. Data collection began after approval from the Ethics Committee of Middlesex, Dubai. Data collected through online platforms remained confidential, which was ensured through Qualtrics software. Statistical analysis. Binary logistic regression was adopted so to predict any possible relationship between the predictors with the categorical predicted variable, PIU. Initially, descriptive statistics and frequency distribution statistical tools were employed to summarize the dataset collected. Results and discussion. The chi-square test indicates that the independent variables significantly predict PIU. The logistic regression analysis revealed that phubbing behavior, FOMO, and family relationship significantly affect PIU. Additionally, family relationships indicated a negative relationship with PIU, whereby poor cohesion among family members can increase the chances of PIU. And FOMO and fubbing behavior indicated a positive relationship with PIU. Interestingly, about 84% of the participants were considered to be problematic internet users, which indeed signifies the importance of the study. Looking closely at each predicted variables, fubbing behavior. Two possible rationales for the outcome is firstly, the ability of multitasking, and secondly, the uses and gratification theory, which expands on attaining immediate gratification by using SNS more than real-time conversation. FOMO. The possible explanation of the prediction of PIU by FOMO is in accordance with the self-determination theory, suggesting that every individual has certain emotional needs, such as competence, self-sufficiency, and affinity that needs to be satisfied. And it was indicated that FOMO mediates those not met psychological needs through social media interaction. Family relationship. Possible reasonings for the findings could be firstly, parenting styles. Parenting styles can contribute significantly in one's internet behavior, as parenting can influence implicitly in imparting the knowledge regarding the optimal use of SNS. Secondly, can be in accordance with the social learning theory, whereby individuals, as they grow older, the learning advances to observe and imitate behaviors due to social pressure. Especially considering the influence of siblings is in close accordance with this theory. However, the fourth variable, SNS-incited loneliness, did not significantly predict PIU, and the possible justification is that, according to literature, more than the measure of internet usage, it is the content in which one interacts with that would impact the factor loneliness. However, the questionnaire utilized to measure SNS-incited loneliness covers only the general aspect concerning the usage of SNS, rather than the content one interacts with. Strengths. There are several identifiable virtues that is worth mentioning. Firstly, while considering the operationalization of the variable SNS-incited loneliness, one of the earliest studies on understanding the relationship between loneliness instigated by SNS usage and PIU. Secondly, the present study has compiled results focusing on a population range from 18 to 50 years of age. Hence, reasonably the only study that has analyzed all the four social phenomena as predictable factors of PIU on a wider population. Especially in a world where population aging has become a major concern, it is essential to understand the trend in the internet usage consequences across all significant age groups. Limitations. Considering the limitations of the study, there is a concern regarding how reliably a social phenomenon can be represented through numeric categorical data. Secondly, since the participants involve both young adults and older individuals who are parents, the young adults might have viewed the family they are born to, while older adults view it as a family they are married, which can certainly be further altered by cultural and ethnic influences. They seem to show an inconsistent outlook while completing the questionnaire. This could have been rectified by devising age category-specific questionnaires for rigorous results. Now, looking at the future scope of the study, few recommendations are: a longitudinal comparative study could be adopted to understand the influence of internet usage on the loneliness state. And considering that 84% of the participants in the present study were identified with PIU, it is imperative to expand on understanding the different internet usage influence and consequences across each age group. Conclusion. Fubbing behavior, FOMO, and family relationship significantly predicts PIU. The study substantially adds to the literature because of consideration of broader age groups, maximizing generalizability, and also modification devised in defining the variables such as family relationship and loneliness has significantly contributed. Thank you for your patient listening.